For the first time since 2009, Alabama fans are feeling exactly what it's like to be the rest of the college football landscape. Let's talk about exactly what that means after the stinger. Before we talk about Nick Saban's legacy for Alabama, hit that like and subscribe button if you guys like what we're doing here at Campus to Camp. We are trying to get to those 3,000 subs as quick as possible, and we don't have the support of NBC, CBS, ESPN, any of those big name companies. It's just you guys. So 2009, Nick Saban wins his first national championship with Alabama, and then goes on to win a ton more. I believe it was between every 3 years. Obviously started in 2007. And Alabama fans, you've lived in that glory. Since 2007, when he took that job, you probably weren't expecting the mass success that he brought you guys, but you've lived in a bubble. You've been in that bubble for a long time, and that bubble has finally burst. The greatest of all time, the GOAT, has retired, Nick Saban. And things are not looking pretty right now for Alabama. The transfer portal is going crazy with all kinds of players jumping in there. Caleb Downs, arguably the best defensive player in all of college football, gone to Ohio State. Caden Proctor, I wouldn't say the best left tackle in college football, but a very good true freshman left tackle. He's in the portal. Sounds like he's going to Iowa. Isaiah Bond, leading receiver last year. He's gone, going to Texas. Julian Sayin, he enters the portal. Your 5-star quarterback, possible future of the Alabama program. Sounds like he might be going to Ohio State. Des Ricks, gone, Texas A&M. Amari Nyblack, tight end, Texas. I mean, it's insane. All kinds of players. Ja'Cory Brooks, Sean Murphy, Trey Amos, Roydell Williams, Malik Benson, Jameer Grimsley, Seth McLaughlin, Earl Little, Terrence Ferguson, Christian Story, Jake Pope, Isaiah Hastings. It has been a mass exodus. Now, some of these players clearly before Saban. Let's not all put that on Saban, but some of this is because of Nick Saban. And I think you guys are going to be okay, and here's why. Of course, these players are going to leave. They don't know Kalen DeBoer. They had their certain situations locked up with Tommy Rees and Nick Saban and the rest of that coaching staff. And we saw a lot of that coaching staff leave, including a lot of the coaches on the defensive side, which Caleb Downs kind of accredited to why he was leaving. They do bring in my opinion, a very good head coach in Kalen DeBoer with Washington, who I know some Alabama fans may not know a ton about him. Some college football fans may not know a ton about him. But you saw him and his offense, unfortunately, get smacked by Michigan in the national championship game. But let me give you a little bit of context here on Kalen DeBoer. When he took over Eastern Michigan, took that offense from 125th ranked offense to the 61st ranked. We took over Fresno State, the 77th ranked offense, moved them all the way up to the 26th ranked offense. Took over Indiana for the 1 year with Michael Penix, had him the 43rd ranked offense. Comes back to Fresno now as the head coach. He was the offensive coordinator the first time. The 30th ranked offense, back to the 26th ranked offense. And Washington, in his first year, he was the 6th ranked offense. Last year, the 13th ranked. Still very, very good. And I think he can do that for Alabama. The big question is obviously going to be, what does this mean for him on the recruiting side of things? In his first year with Washington in 2022, he had the 95th ranked class overall, which is obviously not great. But last year improved that immensely and brought in the 26th ranked class. So it was not a bad class. And you have the Alabama staff and everything behind him. You do have Nick Saban and what he has built behind him as well. While there's definitely going to be a drop-off because Nick Saban is not there, you still have the Alabama allure. Alabama is still an elite school in college football, an elite college football team. And if Kalen DeBoer can keep some of that mojo going, he'll be fine. 26th ranked. Alabama in this last season, the second rank. I mean, we know just a couple years ago had the number one class of all time. I don't know that Kalen DeBoer is going to do that, but he should be able to at least, I think, keep Alabama in the top 10 to 15 in recruiting classes. And that may not sound great. Alabama fans, they may not say, well, that's not good enough. We're used to those top 5 classes because of Nick Saban. You're right. But let's not put all of that on Kalen DeBoer just yet. Let's see what he's able to do. He has brought some players over in the transfer portal. He brings over Austin Mack. So far, an interesting quarterback. He has Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson still on the roster. We will see what Austin Mack does. I would assume with Kalen DeBoer bringing him over and him actually following him, that's a good sign for the future. I personally would have rather had Julian Sayin, but Austin Mack can challenge all 3 levels of the field and has a little bit more arm strength than Julian Sayin does. And what I would trust in Kalen DeBoer is offense. If you go and look at what he has done in his time at Fresno State and Washington as a head coach, he has garnered a ton of success. So offensive pass rate in neutral and early down situations. So first, second down, He passes almost exclusively more than he does run the ball. 55% or more with his time with Washington and Fresno State. His highest being almost 65% with that 2022 Washington team, that first year they burst on the scene with Michael Penix. They also have a really great success rate, over 47% or higher, going up all the way to 53%. So, I mean, you're completing you're having a pass success rate of 53% at his best. That is really, really damn good. And his offensive pass explosiveness and EPA per play. So EPA per play is a fantasy football thing for us here at Campus to Canton. We're all about college fantasy football. So you can play these guys on Saturdays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. When Max starts everything, you play all college football and Campus to Canton leagues. When those players go up into the NFL, they join your NFL squad just like an NFL Dynasty League. If you want to learn more about that, click the link below. He has been incredible on pass explosiveness for the most part. Now, last year, he was down a little bit, 1.5. The average line is 1.6. So when you think about pass explosiveness, you're thinking Kalen DeBoer's offense, this should be. They actually haven't ever crossed that threshold. 1.5 to 1.58 is the highest. Now, EPA per play, still pretty good, 0.25 to a 0.440. That is really good. And the difference between now, I'm just going to talk about two specific offenses for Alabama to give you guys an idea of what I think is coming for them. Obviously, last year, there were some struggles with the offense. Jalen Milroe, while an exciting college athlete, I think you could argue one of the best athletes in all of college football, struggled passing the ball at times. Their offense last year was not good at all when you look at the advanced metrics. The pass rate in neutral situations, 40%, and the success rate, 40%. You definitely don't want to see that. But where I think this offense could go is that Steve Sarkisian, COVID season, Mac Jones, Devonta Smith type offense. Because Kalen DeBoer will have those receivers, and I do trust whatever quarterback he keeps. Whether it's Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, if it's Austin Mack who wins the job in the spring, if they bring somebody else in, rumors of Will Rogers coming over. Whatever they do, you should trust in Kalen DeBoer. And Kalen DeBoer we trust when it comes to quarterbacks and wide receivers. Those offenses, a pass success rate of over almost 60%, folks. 59% pass success rate in that COVID year, and they're passing in early neutral situations at a 55% rate. So they were passing the ball a ton early and often. I mean, look, you can see behind me, Ohio State fan, what Steve Sarkisian, Mac Jones, and Devonta Smith did to them in the national championship game they should have been arrested. All right. That was just criminal what they did to that Ohio State team. But they were incredible in that. And a pass explosiveness of upwards of 1.7. Now, they actually had a really good pass explosive rating in 2023 of 1.9. So when Jalen Milroe was hitting those plays, they were extremely explosive. This is why I think Milroe could stay on as Alabama's quarterback, but even if he doesn't, Kalen DeBoer will get that figured out. The whole point of this video has been, Alabama fans, I know you're worried and you're scared. It's the first time you've not had Nick Saban in forever, but I think you're going to be fine. You may not make it to the national championship in year one. I think there's a shot that you could make it to the playoffs. Western Kentucky, USF, Wisconsin. You're probably starting the season off 3-0. Georgia's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but you got them at home. But let's say you even lose that game. I think you can beat South Carolina and Tennessee, probably Missouri, LSU, a tough game. Then you got Mercer, Oklahoma, and Auburn in the Iron Bowl in Alabama. There's a realistic shot you're looking at 2 losses at most right now in the SEC, which should get you into the 12-team playoff, and we'll see what you do from there. You shouldn't be worried. Everything is going to be fine. Got to be worried about all the transfers out, and that is the biggest thing that has worried me, what he can do in the portal, because you've lost a lot of players. But at the end of the day, Kalen DeBoer should be able to keep Alabama more than relevant and make them a national title contender every year moving forward. Let's give him a pass in 2024, see what he's able to do. Let's hope that he's able to keep this ship rolling. What do you guys think? Is Alabama making the playoffs in 2024? Do you think Kalen DeBoer is going to be able to keep the ship going with Nick Saban retiring? Or are we not afraid of the Crimson Tide anymore? Let me know below. We'll talk to you guys.